So if you're planning to do any kind of ruler work on your long arm machine, and by ruler work I mean using some kind of template, if you're going to be doing it by hand but you want to get nice curves and straight lines, then you're probably going to want to do some ruler work. For ruler work, there are a few things that you need to attach that are probably going to need to be purchased separately from your machine, and one of them is this extension table. I'll include a link under this video in the description box where you can buy yours. And you can just attach this, and what it does is it widens out the base of the machine itself so that you have somewhere to rest. So this extension table just extends, obviously, the base of your machine to allow for using larger rulers and doing different types of ruler work. Another thing you're going to need is a ruler foot for your machine. This is the foot that came with the machine. You can see that this is nice and flat, and it's meant to just be stitched just for quilting like this. Side by side here you can see the difference. Okay? And the reason it's wider is because when we're doing ruler work, you can see how wide the template is here. This is going to allow me to place it down, hold it wherever I need it, and the foot is going to just glide right next to it. One thing I really like about this hopping and ruler foot is the little scoop that you see. It's cut out. It's not completely round all the way around. This is something that I really appreciate because as you're quilting from the front, it allows you to see a little bit better exactly where it is that you're quilting and where you're going to be going with the machine next. So I'll include a link in the video description box below where you can get yours over there at Finishing Touches Quilting Studio. They make these feet for different machines, so it's not just for if you have a Voyager 17 like I do. Just give the link a look and see if one of your mid arms or long arms are compatible with the feet that they make there. So for stitching in the ditch, you basically want to ride along seam lines. I'm going to start off on the end here off the quilt. Put the needle in, up, pull up that bobbin thread, take a few stitches, and now I'm going to start going nice and slow. I'm going to lower my speed here and go right down the seam line into the actual block. So I'll do this freehand, and then I'll show you down this end how I use the stitch in the ditch template. Okay, so I've made it that way. There's a few little areas where I actually went onto the sashing instead of staying in the ditch line, which is, it takes practice to do it that way. Another way that I like to do it also is using this stitch in the ditch ruler. I'll include a link here from where I get mine. You can get them at Finishing Touches Quilting Studio. Now on this end, let me show you how I do it using the stitch in the ditch ruler. And it has a little groove on the top and the bottom, and that's going to account for the thickness of the foot. So you're going to line that up with your seam line at the top and at the bottom of the line that you want to stitch. And I've started up here and just hold it right in place. You can stop if you need to walk your fingers down. For my borders, since I do all of my stuff hand-guided, which is like free-handed, just like this, with no computerized anything, not even a stitch regulator, I usually like to keep my stuff real simple. So I'm just going to do some loop-de-loops in here, and I'm just going to start stitching, and I'm going to go loop over, loop over, loop under, just like this. Now that I'm done quilting this top border and I've stitched in the ditch all along there, I'm now going to advance my quilt so I can have one full 12-inch block within my quilting space, right? Because when I stitch in the ditch down here, it stopped me like halfway down because my machine won't reach. So I'm going to scoot it up so now I can quilt whatever I want along all these blocks in this full row. And so let's double check that and make sure that if I go far back, I can reach this topmost edge. So that's perfect. and if I come all the way forward, you can see I can come well into the next sashing strip, meaning I have a full quiltable area of this 12-inch block that I can work with across the entire length of the quilt. So the next thing I want to do is continue to stitch in the ditch along these vertical sashing strips this whole way. Then I'll come back and I'll do this bottom line here, and basically that's going to frame out each one of my blocks and is now going to allow me a blank canvas for me to quilt whatever I want to do inside the blocks.